Hey guys, Justin here with JKS Manufacturing, here to talk to you about Jeep suspension and how to choose the right lift for your Jeep consumer. I can say this because I am a Jeep person. Jeep people are different. They expect a different lingo. They expect you to know and understand, certain Jeep things. And so we've developed a process in which you can sell Jeep suspension, get them the right kit based on how they use their Jeep, and also get you those increased sales, comebacks, and referrals, which is obviously always the goal. So the biggest thing, if you go out onto forums and Facebook groups and Jeep consumers are talking, nobody ever asks the right questions on how to, get the right kit for their Jeep. Everybody says, how much do I need for 35s? Or what about this? And you'll hear a bunch of systems say, oh, you want one of these, or oh, you want one of those. And nobody asked what you're doing with the Jeep. That was the question we asked ourselves. That's the question we would ask a consumer if they approached us at a trade show. How are you using your Jeep? We've developed the J-rated terrain scale that has basically 4 main categories. You're gonna have road, trail, rocks, sand, those type of categories that are gonna, give a weighted answer to some simple questions and help them choose the right kit. So looking at this terrain scale, we start asking the consumer questions, and we really need the consumer to ask themselves the same questions. If rock crawling is extremely important to you, we need to get you a system designed for rock crawling. If street driving, the daily drive, is the most important thing to them, we need to get them a system that has those features built in as well. Each system has a rating in these terrains. All systems that JKS makes will absolutely party off-road. We don't make a product that won't, function on the trail. Just some things are gonna do a little bit better in certain areas than others. Everything with off-road suspension is a compromise, right? If you want to play really, really hard in the mud, you need a big, nasty, aggressive tire. Nobody wants to listen to that thing going down the highway every day, right? So these are the compromises we talk about. So when we take those into account, we start developing systems based on it. When we start at the base of everything for JKS, we're a little bit snotty in how we design our suspension system. We've got a nose in the air. There's certain things we demand change when changing the ride height of a Jeep vehicle. Jeeps are known for being a little bit twitchy, there's death wobble, there's all these things, right? So we have a base level of components that we demand be put on the Jeep no matter what they're going to do with it, okay? That is always gonna be track bar, right here in front of me. No matter what, JL, JK, we go up 2.5 inches, we need an adjustable track bar. Rear track bar bracket, very, very important. When we raise the ride height and we change the angle in the rear of the track bar, we're changing the instant center, the driving characteristics of the Jeep. We need to raise that up almost as much as we lift the Jeep. We want that angle as flat as possible. We need to do something with the front lower control arms. Sometimes we'll do a replacement, sometimes we'll just do a caster key. We need to get some caster back in this thing. It needs to drive correctly, okay? Sway bar quicker disconnects. JKS invented the sway bar quicker disconnect. Why wouldn't it be the base in every system, right? Something else we do, dual rate springs, front and rear. Dual rate springs store energy, and you can kind of see they have, a different spring spacing. They store energy at ride height. That stored energy uses to drop into potholes. Also, a dual rate spring is longer than a linear rate spring for the same lift height. So let's say it was 3.5 inch spring. This dual rate spring is gonna be longer. That means I can run a longer shock. That means I get more articulation, more wheel travel. These are really important things to Jeep, persons. So when we're looking at selling systems, and say somebody says, hey, I just street drive this thing, I really don't need that nice of a suspension system. Honestly, anybody can make one perform off-road. It's driving to and from the trail that's actually the most important part. When somebody tells me they spend a lot of time on the road, there are some components that I absolutely want them to have. I want them to have rubber bushings, okay? These are the OE rubber bushings. We're using both ends of these control arms. That really handles the MVHs, noise and ride harshness and all the things that go into that chassis, that short wheelbase, that solid axle. These ride better, okay? They last forever, and they still articulate really, really well. We absolutely use the OE Jeep style though. That's important. You gotta get the correct durometer of the bushing. Okay, when somebody says they do a lot of street driving, I want them in a dual rate spring. It is going to ride better. We haven't even talked about the off-road prowess, okay? So we're rubber bushings, we're dual rate springs. If they say, hey, Rock crawling, that's where I gotta be. I gotta be rock crawling. Okay, so immediately I'm starting to look at shock options. How long of a shock can I get in this thing, okay? I want the longest possible shock. I need all the articulation that goes with that shock, okay? So then I start going into flex joints, okay? And you can see here, flex joints have grease zerks. They're rebuildable, okay? They've got about, 15, 20, 30 degrees, depending on the joint itself, of additional articulation. That requires maintenance. Somebody that drives on the street every single day, they're going to maintenance these a lot more often, okay? If rock crawling and trail riding is extremely important to you, you want something like this in your Jeep. If you're going to put 20,000 miles a year or whatever, you need a rubber bushing in there. That's just a maintenance piece. Any JKS system is also going to come with stackable bump stops, and this goes right to the heart of the usage of the vehicle, okay? Somebody might do a 3.5-inch lift and put 35s or 33s on it. We wouldn't want them with a 3-inch bump stop extension, limiting travel, which creates harshness in riding. We can unstack and give less bump stop extension. If they're gonna put 37s or 40s on, big tires, we're gonna have to change that as well. We can stack the bump stops up, make sure when we're installing the system, we really tune it to the customer vehicle. Obviously, shocks. Shocks are such a huge thing here at JKS. We are a Fox factory company. That always comes with the Fox shocks, right? We have many, many options in Fox shocks for the Jeep consumer. Anything from a 2.0 Adventure Series here, all the way up to the 3.0 internal bypasses. So, kind of recapping a few solid questions using the J-rated terrain scale, finding out how that consumer is using their Jeep. You're gonna get them the right kit the first time. They're gonna be extremely happy with it, and we know they're gonna tell their friends. They got the great service from your shop. They're gonna come in, you're gonna, you might go from being a truck shop to a Jeep shop in just a couple of sales. Any more further questions, never hesitate to contact us at JKS Manufacturing. And as always, if you wanna take a look at the systems and the kits, jksmfg.com.